how much work can you outsource to an AI? The bigger that number gets, the more real world value there is. Now, in the domain of software engineering, of coding, we have a really good way of measuring that, which is that we come up with a suite of software engineering tasks that would take a human different lengths of times, and we say, what's the longest task we can give an AI and have it do it reasonably well? And the longer that task is, obviously, the more it can actually do what a human would do. It's a little organization in California called METR, M-E-T-R, and they produce what I like to call the most important chart in the world. What is the most important chart in the world? Well, it just tracks over the last 5 years. How long was that task? What was the longest task that the AI could do semi-reliably? If there's anyone very technical in the room, by the way, I'm doing quite a lot of hand-waving, and we can do technical caveats later, but I think to a first approximation, what I'm about to tell you is true and important. So when I started working on AI policy in 2023, the amount of work you could outsource was something like 2 to 4 minutes. It wasn't very impressive. And so I totally understand why people said, this is hype. The interesting thing, though, is that by the time I went back into number 10 in 2024 to write the UK's AI strategy, that number was up to about 20 minutes. And then by the time I left number 10 in the summer of 2025 to regain my sanity, it was about 2 hours. And today it's about 10 hours. And so the interesting thing about AI is not where you are at any one time, but what's the shape of the curve. And actually, and I'm running over time, so this is the last thing, to me, I would say we're actually not very good at thinking about exponential curves, curves where there is a doubling period. We learned this during COVID, where we kind of, I think in AI today, we're in the February 2020 moment in COVID. We're in the moment where we look over and say, gosh, it's terrible what's happening in Italy. Thank goodness it will never happen here. That is where we are. It was 20 minutes, it was 2 hours, it's 10 hours. The doubling period that this organization, METR, think we're in right now is about 6 months, roughly. Every 6 months, the amount of work you can delegate to an AI is doubling. So is that a big deal? Well, the thing I said in my parting briefing to Keir Starmer last summer was a world where you can delegate 2 hours of work to an AI is not a very different world. That's the world we're in now. But there's still 6 more doublings before the next election. And a world where you can delegate 2 hours doubled 6 times, that's a working month. And a world where you can delegate a working month of work to an AI is a world transformed. And so when we think about, are we in a bubble? Is all the jobs going to go? The jobs are not all going to go. Humans will have a lot of things to do for a very long time. But I think you're absolutely kidding yourself if you think that this is just going to go away. The curve is going to continue, and that's going to have profound implications for politics, for economics, for society, and for what we each do all day. Thank you very much.